Welcome to this explainer. We are jumping right in today with a full 360-degree look at the Azur 111 Hotel in New Alamein City. We're going to take those glossy official marketing claims straight from the hotel and put them head-to-head with verified guest reviews from places like Booking.com and Expedia. So we're literally breaking down exactly what you expect versus what you actually get. Here is our roadmap for today. We're looking at the Mediterranean escape, inside the suites, pools, lagoons, and beaches, the guest experience, areas for improvement, and finally, the final verdict.
All right, Section 1, the Mediterranean escape, grand promises.
When you first check out the marketing for Azur 111, the absolute first thing that hits you is the sheer scale of the place. 383. That's how many spacious suites are on this property. You know, this isn't some tiny hidden boutique spot. It's a massive upscale resort right in the heart of Egypt's north coast, and it's completely designed to handle hundreds of guests at a time while promising this grand-scale luxury.
And honestly, one of the biggest strategic advantages they push is the location. The official materials are super quick to point out that it's only 50 kilometers from Alamein International Airport, which is, for sure, incredibly convenient. But the coolest part? It's physically connected to a shopping center. So if you forget your sunscreen or you just kind of want a break from the heat, you have walkable access to a whole mall right from the hotel lobby.
Moving right along to Section 2, inside the suites, spacious luxury.
Let's talk about where you'll actually be kicking back and sleeping, because the suites are a massive selling point here. Take the Azur suite with a pool view, for example. It's got this really bright, modern, airy feel. And when we cross-reference this with the verified reviews, people are obsessed with the size of these rooms. One reviewer from the UK, Lucas, literally said the rooms feel the size of an actual apartment.
So that promise of space, it's totally real. The family suites go up to a staggering 1,346 square feet. You get entirely separate living and dining areas, a kitchenette with a microwave, which is an absolute lifesaver if you have kids, and a cleanliness rating of 9.0, which is fantastic. But here comes the guest reality check. You might want to pack your own bathrobe and toothpaste because reviewers noted that surprisingly, these basic 5-star essentials were just missing from the bathrooms.
All right, Section 3, pools, lagoons, and beaches, the water world.
This is the main event for any coastal resort, right? The official brochure paints this flawless picture of a private sandy beach and 5, yes, 5 outdoor swimming pools. And guests totally back them up on the pools and the swimmable lagoon. They say they are absolutely top tier. But the beach situation is a little more complicated. The water is crystal clear, but reviewers point out that the beach itself is actually pretty small for a resort this huge, and getting there requires catching a shuttle ride away from the main property.
Let me paint a picture of how this actually affects your day, based on a really detailed review by a guest named Aya. It takes some strategy. To avoid the wait lists, you've got to hit the breakfast spot the second it opens at 7 a.m. Then you hustle to catch the very first shuttle at 9:30 a.m. Aya mentioned the bus is air-conditioned, but it's a bit on the older side and the road is bumpy. But if you pull off this morning beach run, by 10 a.m. you've claimed your spot on the soft sand right before the massive crowds show up.
Shifting gears to Section 4, the guest experience, exceptional service.
You know, you can have the biggest pools and the most gigantic rooms, but poor service will ruin a vacation instantly. So I have to ask, in a market as crowded as Egypt's north coast, what is it that actually sets the Azur 111 apart?
It's the service, hands down. One guest really hit the nail on the head, writing, "A big thank you to Miss Nahale, who assigned us a beautifully located suite. This thoughtful gesture made our stay much more comfortable." Ms. Nahale, who is the Assistant Guest Relation Manager, is called out by name over and over again in these reviews. It just proves that warm, personalized Egyptian hospitality isn't just a marketing buzzword here, it's very real.
And it's definitely not just a one-person show. Guests went out of their way to name-drop Mr. Youssef for being super professional, Ahmed Regab for immaculate housekeeping, along with Mr. Mohammed Beaker and Sharok and Mr. Usama for their awesome guest follow-up. Reviewers made a point to mention this exceptional treatment was completely universal too. One guest was thrilled to point out that both Egyptian and foreign guests received the exact same high level of welcoming hospitality.
Of course, nowhere is perfect. Let's look at Section 5, areas for improvement, the minor grievances.
When we pull the aggregated guest sentiment data straight from Booking.com, the scores for cleanliness, staff, and facilities are soaring right around that 9.0 mark. But then there's the free Wi-Fi. It drops pretty significantly down to a 7.3. So if you're a modern traveler who needs to hop on a Zoom call or do some remote work, a spotty internet connection is definitely something you need to keep on your radar.
We also pulled together the most common specific grievances to give you a clear picture. Number 1, the breakfast restaurant is just too small, which creates those annoying morning wait lists. Number 2, and this is a big expectation versus reality clash, guests felt the room service was quite expensive, yet premium meals like steak were being delivered with cheap, disposable plastic cutlery. Number 3, parents called out a frustrating lack of public toilets right near the pool areas, meaning you have to trek all the way back to your suite. And finally, housekeeping response times took a noticeable hit during the peak summer rush.
Which brings us to Section 6, the final verdict. Is it worth it?
When we weigh the official claims against the actual boots-on-the-ground guest reviews, here is the breakdown. The highlights? Unbeatable. The suites are massive and spotless. The staff is outstandingly friendly. And having 5 pools plus that swimmable lagoon is incredible. But the trade-offs are definitely real. You're going to deal with high food prices, you absolutely have to take a bumpy shuttle to get to the beach, and you will feel the crowding in the dining areas during peak season.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder before you lock in that booking. Knowing that you have apartment-sized suites and exceptional staff waiting for you, is having access to that stunning crystal-clear lagoon worth taking a bumpy morning shuttle ride to get to the beach? If you don't mind navigating a bit of a morning rush, this 4-star Mediterranean escape might just be the exact perfect getaway you're looking for. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I hope this deep dive helps you travel just a little bit smarter.